All right, good morning. Got to do a little rearranging this morning to get the R6 out. I don't know if you can see, it's a little rainy this morning, but it should be a good ride home. Probably just pull it the whole way out, even though it's rainy. Here's my reminder to lubricate my chain. All right. Yeah, it's like 32 degrees out too, so I mean, I got a lot of gear on, but still gonna be a little cold. Let's see what happens. Smoky. It's a lot more smoke than I expected. All right. And we're off. So I know this isn't really good riding weather, but it's been slim pickings recently, living in Western Pennsylvania. Like I said, it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit right now, so pretty cold. That's the oil pressure light. That happens whenever the bike's still pretty cold. So just got to be conservative with it here for a second. Yeah, another disclaimer here. I know I do this like every ride now because it's the tail end of the winter, but I don't recommend you ride in weather like this. I'm riding in weather like this because I've had a really long week. I've been working extra long hours. I leave the house at 6 a.m. I get home around 6 p.m. And by the time I make some food, shower, and all that, it's usually, I don't know, close to 8 by the time I'm done with all that. Then I really don't have energy to enjoy my evenings after that. I'm usually pretty wiped out. So it's not long after that I end up going to bed. I mean, I'm not going to bed at 8 o'clock, but I'm also not like enjoying myself. Not to mention the weather's been just awful. This is actually like arguably a pretty day for what we've had recently. Plus, this is supposed to be pretty much the end of the rain. It might rain for another half hour or whatever. But we're not expecting showers all day. It'll rain a little after I get home. That's my expectation. But I should be fine. I mean, even with a little bit of rain, it's probably worth it anyway. I've wanted to ride the R6 all week. Haven't had an opportunity to. So we're making an opportunity. That's how it goes. Engine's almost up to temperature. It's like 151 right now. That light kicks off when it's at 165, but as you can see, the engine's still going down in temperature. This is a liquid-cooled engine. But yeah, it normally likes to run between 165 and like 212. Anywhere in that range is like its happy temperature. So still got to be a little conservative with it. So we're at 158. $160. And if you're wondering why I didn't wait like 10 minutes to warm up the bike before I left, it's actually arguably worse in a condition like this to let the bike warm up before riding it, simply because it would take probably close to an infinite amount of time for the bike to warm up. I mean, like I said, it's 32 degrees out. The bike's not going to want to warm up from 32 to 165, just at idle. Gotta remember the bike can do close to 17,000 RPM. Another factor is I'm wearing all the gear that I have here. I got nice work boots, but they're pretty solid. Then I have armored pants, got armored jacket, armored gloves. I have an upgraded back protector. What else was I gonna say? Oh, and a helmet, obviously, a good one. All right, no more smoke, so we're good. Gotta be careful over these bumps. Today really would have been a day to drive the Miata, not take the motorcycle, because it's, you know, it's a lot of fun to ride around in the Miata, in the good temperature too. It's a soft top, so I can put the top down if I really wanted to. But I don't know. Like I said, I've been like really itching to ride this R6 all week, so we're gonna make it happen. But I'm still gonna be real careful and conservative on the ride there to work. Kind of want to get out of the wind here. Cold, and the bike is still not warmed up, which is sad. Feel bad for torturing the little thing. Visor's been getting a little foggy, so I'm just trying to keep it cracked. See if it'll warm up more in a lower gear. Man, it's still cooling down actively. Faster's not helping. Man, this bike, well, on the bright side, I mean, it has a great cooling system. Really impressed by the cooling system on this bike. It's just like, I wish it would be able to let itself warm up a little more. But that's my fault. I shouldn't be taking it out in this temperature, to be honest. Still got a little snow on the ground over there. Just reach up there and cover the air and let, just kidding, it's not a good move. There you go, light came off, but I think it just gave up. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, because it's still like 162, normally 165 is the cutoff. Try not to stay stay in that middle area between the tire tracks, because that's where a lot of the yucky stuff ends up going. So that was my mistake. I usually try to stay where the tires have been, because that, as the cars run over whatever debris might be there, it kind of pushes it to the middle of the lane and then off to the medians. Side of the lane, because a lot of cracks and bumps over there, and like I said, I didn't want to stay in the middle. I meant to switch my camera to 60 frames per second and turn off HDR for this ride, but I didn't. So I'm sorry you guys are stuck with 30 frames per second, and it's probably a little darker than it would have been if I turned off HDR. So, whoops. Shout out to Michelin for sponsoring my tires today. Just kidding, it's not a sponsor, but I am riding on Michelin Road 5s. I think it's Pilot Road 5s if I'm not mistaken. Bought those for longevity because I plan to ride this bike quite a bit. It was my only bike last summer. Now I have a couple of older bikes that'll be fun to ride around to, you know, car shows, bike shows, things like that. Well, one of them will be fun to ride around. The other two I need to fix up before I figure out what I'm doing with them. Another trick here is if you kind of put yourself up between the cars a little bit, like position yourself in the lane so you're behind the space and not behind the car. If, you know, by some unfortunate circumstance someone were to rear end me, I'd be launched into that space rather than smushed, ideally. You know, lesser of two evils type thing. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, knock on wood, I don't have any wood around. Anyway, it's just all about, like, I understand motorcycling is very dangerous. There's no argument that says that motorcycling is not dangerous, but, you know, 60% of fatalities are involve people who aren't wearing a helmet at the time of the accident. A very large percentage of accidents also occur when the rider has had some amount of alcohol in their system. So even just by avoiding, you know, obviously riding while intoxicated, even after, you know, 2 sips or whatever, that will help your chances. Wearing a helmet is one of the smartest things you can do on a motorcycle. And then all these other little things that I do just kind of add up to hopefully a situation where I'm not harmed. But, you know, looking where I'm going helps so I don't get bonked. Yeah, riding with an ego is not helpful. You just have to kind of accept your fate, that you're the one taking the risk here. And you know, that's not to excuse people who may not see you, but you should still expect people to not see you. Here's one annoying part of my commute. My bike, well, I don't know about this bike. My previous bike was not picked up by the sensors at this light, regardless of whether I'm parked on the line or behind the line or whatever. So sometimes I have to kind of hope that the car behind me can inch up a little bit. Another option is, I know in Pennsylvania we do actually have a law where if you're not picked up by the sensor and it goes through the entire light, there we go, we're good. If you're not picked up by the sensor and it goes through the whole light cycle, at least I think twice, but definitely one whole time, then in Pennsylvania, and do your own research, I'm not a lawyer, there is a law called straight on red. and it's mostly designed for motorcycles. It may entirely be designed for motorcycles, I'm not sure. But yeah, if it doesn't pick you up, you can go straight on red, or even in that case, left on red in Pennsylvania after you've seen that it obviously is not picking you up. You have to wait for the whole light cycle. That doesn't mean just, oh, it let some people go left or whatever. Then yeah, and obviously you have to do it in a safe manner when other cars are not, you know, turning or going the opposite direction, stuff like that. Well, while we're on the topic of safety, you know, we all know speeding is dangerous, but I think we all need a reminder sometimes that if, for example, you double your speed, your braking distance, the distance it takes you to stop, is going to quadruple, okay? It's just physics. You might think, oh, you know, if I'm going 25, I'll brake in exactly half the distance that I would brake in if I was going, you know, 50. But it's actually not the case. At 50 miles per hour, it will take you 4 times as long to stop. So that's one reason it's dangerous to go faster. Another reason that speed is dangerous is, especially for motorcycles, if you're sitting at that turn and you're seeing the motorcycle, since it's such a narrow machine, people sometimes, especially if they're looking out one eye, you know, looking off to the side, people might not really fully understand, you know, their depth perception might be a little bit off. They might not understand how fast you're going. So the safest thing you can do in that situation is go the speed limit or close to the speed limit, because that's around the speed that people are going. I don't know if that was an e-bike or a bicycle or a motorcycle. I gave him 2 fingers anyway. Nicer than giving 1 finger, definitely. No, I wouldn't give him 1 finger. But anyway, and I say that as someone who speeds, by the way, and I admit that. But it's something I'm working on, something we could all probably work on sometimes. I mean, I saw a meme the other day that was like, someone said, just tried going the speed limit today. Are they so for real? Like, there's no way that's normal. You know what? I think I might go around and park on my other spot here. Almost did a hand signal because I'm used to riding that blue bike around a little bit now. I do want to put turn signals on that blue bike, by the way. I know I have at least 2 turn signals. I don't know if they're front or rear, and hopefully I have all 4. I just haven't really looked through to find them. All right. Well, have a good one, guys. It was nice chatting. Very glad that I made it to work. Not to give away my location of where I work, but only the real G's will know. All right. See you guys. All right, that's probably fine. What do you think? I know the guy who parks there, so I'll trust him.